One of countless ambulance calls overnight in Gaza. This is Jabalia.
This is genocide, not war, genocide. It's an attempt to displace the people of the Gaza Strip, but this will not happen.
Tens of thousands are fleeing from north to south Gaza before the land invasion Israel threatens. But that's a long way from the 1.1 million who live here. Safad filmed this for us, she and her 3 children getting out. Unlike so many, they have a car and fuel. The World Health Organization says the forced displacement by Israel of seriously ill and injured people is, quote, a death sentence. Recognizing that, perhaps Israel said it left 2 roads open to the south. But just yesterday, Gazan officials say an Israeli strike hit a convoy of fleeing civilians, killing 70 people. The US and Qatar are attempting to open the Rafah crossing in South Gaza into Egypt. But Egypt won't accept a mass influx of refugees, and so they wait.
The Egyptian government...
If it opens, Rafah looks like an escape route only for foreign passport holders.
Every place I go run away, and I just find bombs and I find dead people. And like maybe one day I'll end up like them, but it's a really scary thing for me.
Waiting too on the other side, trucks full of desperately needed aid, supposedly heading north for Gaza. Clinics and hospitals across the Gaza Strip now brought to the edge of being overwhelmed. We got through to the British doctor, Dr. Qassem Abu Sita, at the main Al-Shifa hospital.
Unless there is respite, there is going to be an infectious diseases public health catastrophe in the hospital. The bodies are stacked up. People are too afraid to bury their dead. You drive past one of the destroyed buildings. The stench of decaying bodies is very, very, very prominent. It seems that they no longer are able to take out the bodies.
Gazan authorities say around 2,500 people killed, more than 700 of them children. At least 9,000 injured. But Gaza is not the only front. Nearly 60 people have been killed this week in the West Bank, and today Hezbollah and Israeli forces exchanged rocket and artillery fire across Israel's northern frontier with Lebanon. But it is Gaza awaiting invasion. Prime Minister Netanyahu, widely blamed by Israelis for allowing Hamas to invade, now steeling his troops for war. Are you ready for what's coming? He asked them repeatedly. With 250,000 reservists called up, Israeli tanks, artillery and infantry assemble close to the border for their latest invasion in a series since Hamas took power in Gaza 16 years ago.
Conflict.
Free!
Perhaps protest measures its resonance. This is London. This is Kolkata in India. Düsseldorf in Germany. And Tel Aviv in Israel. It's hard to put an exact figure on the turnout here in London, but the chanting thundered from start to finish. The protest was organised by the group Palestine Solidarity Campaign.
Israel's told us it's now at war with the Palestinian people because of what happened last Saturday, but the reality is Israel's been waging a war against the Palestinian people for decades through a process of an enactment of a military occupation and the imposition of a system of apartheid.
Amidst the crowd, signs aplenty that this is not as cut and dry an issue as many might perceive. And even on that point, not everyone agreed.
Do you think that there is a disconnect between the complex politics of this issue and the humanitarian kind of situation on the ground, the loss of lives, the terror that people are feeling on both sides?
I reject that it's complicated. It's not Jew versus Arab. It's human rights against oppressors.
Though there was overall unity in today's messaging, there was nuance to people's motivations for coming.
And this is your daughter?
Yeah.
So it's important for you to come out and be here together?
Yeah, I think this is the minimum we can just do for the people there. We can't do any more thing.
Because I'm Irish and I can't stand what's happening to Palestine, to Palestinians right now. It's absolutely disgusting. Honestly, I'm outraged. I'm just sick of it. Just people need to see this. It's not, I brought my children here, they're learning right from wrong right now.
I come from a marginalised community myself, and so where I see oppression happening, I don't think it's fair.
We mourn the death of all civilians. It doesn't matter who they are, because we believe in the dignity of every human being, and that every human being should be able to live in freedom.
Whilst a lot of the people that we've spoken to today have professed the importance of empathy for all, recent hate crime data represents a different reality. The Metropolitan Police says that in the last 2 weeks, incidents of anti-Semitism and Islamophobia have drastically increased compared to the same 2 weeks last year.
By the time the protest reached Downing Street, the police presence was greater. One protester was removed for wearing a mask and immediately released. A power is in place which requires a person to remove items which conceals their identity. And whilst the majority of protesters sent a message to the UK government, a minority at Trafalgar Square threw flares and sticks at the police. Next weekend, we understand, there are plans for an even bigger protest, by which point the death toll will be higher too.